I don't know what to do, man. I want to keep going. I want to work on some music. I'm so sad. Maybe I should just go upstairs and lay down. Go to the gym. Maybe I should go swimming or something. I need to get out of this house or something. I'm going to do this one. This is her live. And she was live. So let's see how long this is right here. Real quick. Okay, this is an hour live. So let's first of all, I want to do this right here. Check this out. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check this out. This is the mama taking the victory walk. Let's check it out.
Yes, say it. Yes, mama. Remember we love you. Remember how we've been praying for you. Thank you so much, beautiful mama. Yay! Victory! You're welcome. Thank you. God bless you. Yes.
That's 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦. 𝗗𝗢𝗡 is loud.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
They pumping her up, man. She not walking like she was walking.
Oh, damn.
Jesus. I'm supposed to be out there, y'all.
That was a moment. That was a moment.
And we got it.
We got it.
And we got it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Too many paparazzis out there. YouTube paparazzis out there, baby.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Now, Tisha Tells, poor thing. I thought she was going to cry right on the camera, man. I'm gonna take it from the top. Yeah. Let's take it from the top, man. She deserve it, man. We're going to go all the way with this one.
There has been Judgment Day, and the jury has found Sean Diddy Combs not guilty. We're going to talk about what this means. We're going to talk about what happened. We're going to talk about what the government said, and we're going to talk about the way I feel that jury has failed us. I feel like the jury failed us. I feel like we stepped back 20 years. I feel like they sent a message about what they care about. Celebrity, money, power, influence, flunkies. I feel like this is a travesty, okay? I know that there are a lot of Diddy supporters that are celebrating, but they're not even celebrating for Diddy. They're celebrating that wealth, that depravity, that violence could live another day. They're celebrating that they're idle, that in their beds while they sit there and wonder why their lives turned out, that they're idle, someone they hope for, they aspire to be. Someone that as he gets not guilty, he's not even going to say two words to these people. They are celebrating the fact that the man, the myth, the legend, someone that they looked up to, that their idol was set free. You guys, let's get into this. First of all, I do want to say I feel for all the victims that came forward, and I feel for all the victims that actually came forward and testified, that put their lives, that shared the most humiliating parts of their life to be picked apart, to be mocked, to be laughed at. In the closing arguments, while the jury was sitting there giggling, while Mark Agnifilo was saying Cassie's gangster and she could take 2 or 3 people. And my heart goes out to the victims that actually came forward. And my heart goes out to the future victims that saw what happened, that saw what money and power bought. And my heart goes out to those people that put themselves on the line only to get this. People are cheering for someone they didn't even know. People are cheering at the fact that someone that they would never let their daughter, their sister, their mother, their father, their brother, their friend be treated like that. But again, it is what it is. The prosecution is saying they are going to go for the maximum sentence, which carries 20 years. The judge is charged with sentencing. There's a chance that he could be out on probation. Now, I'm going to take you into the courtroom. What happened? Of course, listen, looking back, so I know what you guys are thinking, what happened, because I am in shock. You found the prostitution, but that's because there was no way you could get around it. You found the prostitution because there was no way to get around it. But for everything else, the arson, the kidnapping, the beatings, you found that this man wasn't guilty. This puts everything else in the holdouts. The holdouts They were the ones fighting the good fight. They were the ones that said, no, I think he's guilty of something. But at the end, they went with the group. What is this said? A jury of between 40-year-olds and 71-year-olds, and they came back and they delivered their view of the world. But when you look at it, their view of the world is why the world looks like it is. It's why the world looks like it does. It's why these monsters can still move forward. They literally use their better judgment to come back and ignore what we have learned about victims of SA, ask yourself why sex trafficking has not been eradicated. This is the reason why. Ask yourself why victims don't come forward, and ask yourself, right?
What do you say about Ronald Diddy every day? You came out here and lied on him. We just want to get your reaction. You said he was going to prison, he might be coming home. Just want to get your reaction. What do you think about the RICO?
I think that much like you, the jury very ignorant, acted ignorantly, and have ignorant. No, I'm saying the way you came up on me is ignorant.
I've been looking for you because
Well, baby, here I am.
Well, baby, here I am.
I think I'm on live right now, okay? Worry about your little channel, sweetie. What's that?
I hope Diddy's suing.
Diddy is still not gonna let you suck his dick, baby. He's going for 20.
Security guard ain't doing a good job.
Baby, your channel's not doing a good job.
Whoa.
Anyway, right?
Go ahead,
Anyway, here we
Tisha.
go.
Wait a minute. Don't stoop down to their level. Don't do that. Haters. I just want to get your opinion. She giving her opinion. If you want her opinion, go to her channel. She giving her opinion right now as we speak, and you interrupting. Okay, let's continue. Ooh, Diddy still is not going to allow you to.
For 20.
Security guard ain't doing a good job.
Baby, your channel's not doing a good job.
Oh my God, she had to go there. She went straight
right?
there. Go ahead.
Here we go,
girl.
right?
Talk to us.
As we go, right? As we go. Hey, what's up, right? People acting like I'm the prosecution, but baby, they can bring the smoke if they want. They acting like I'm the prostitute. So anyway, you guys, listen. What does it say? Do you see the things that I actually just put up with? These people are crazy.
All
this
of them.
Man literally came up because this man literally came up and tried to cause a scene because his idol, someone he's never met or known. Again, the level of ignorance that is in Diddy supporters, the fact that they're saying I lied on Diddy by reading court documents, I lied on Diddy by what was going on, I lied on Diddy. This is the supporters they have, and this is the world that we live in. This is the world that we live in. Listen, this is the world. Baby, I am securityed up on all corners. Don't worry, I'm fine. All right, so let's get into what actually happened, okay? They have a verdict on all counts, okay? He was only convicted of the Mann Act, and that is prostitution. Now, this turned out to be what the jury was doing, okay? Somebody tweeted that this tells me there's a strong chance that the jury has found him not guilty on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5 because if they found him guilty on those, number 1 would be easy, okay? So let's get in this, all right? They said it never made sense that he was guilty. People said that it never made sense that he was guilty of sex trafficking. Then they split on RICO. He would have been automatically guilty of RICO if he had trafficked the 2 women. But yeah, listen, here's where I think things might have went wrong. The jury selection, okay? It should have been younger people on that jury and way more women. Of course, an older male jury would assume the women were just whores. I said it. Older men are, it is what it is. Again, they had to rush the indictment without first actually uncovering his full criminal enterprise. Instead of taking the usually 2 years of investigation, an actual huge racketeering enterprise, they did an only quick few months before they started bringing stuff to the grand jury. Let me just say this for anybody asking. I stand 100% down on what I thought and what I felt about Diddy. I do think that this was a miscarriage of justice. I think that the jurors are ignorant. I think the people that supported, well, not the jurors, but the people that support Diddy were ignorant. And I think the jury made the wrong call. I think the jury made the wrong call. And I stand 10 toes down on that. I hope the prosecution does appeal, okay? Now get this. The investigation, okay? There were no wiretaps or phone warrants. The investigation, or no investigating, or maybe there is, about the people around him. Again, we can talk about the investigation. We know that Damian Lewis had to leave. We knew they did the best they could. But again, let's not act like Diddy did not have a lock on anything and everybody, okay? Again, the claim of Jane, we have to argue, as a victim on the prosecution's side, knowing full well that Diddy was paying for the lawyer that was advising her on how to testify. This is what people are saying, okay? On top of that, right? The cutting out of crucial witnesses, especially after the other ones were maybe didn't do the best on cross. I think that was a strategic gamble that Diddy made, and I think it turned out very well. What was the actual strategic gamble? We need to look at it for what it was. They thought the defense was going to call people. And at the end of the day, the defense decided not to call anybody. That was another huge, it was a gamble, and the gamble paid off, okay? Again, I stand 10 toes down. I think this was a miscarriage of justice. I think the jury got it wrong. But the jury was older, they were misogynistic, they were horrible, okay? Another mistake, I believe, okay? Not charging other co-conspirators. It looked crazy for Diddy to be sitting there by himself and claiming a criminal enterprise, okay? And making all the co-conspirators sit there in the court together. The way, listen, the way, okay, that they could have used this opportunity to dig through what Diddy had been doing illegally, but this is what money can buy you. Mark Agnifilo, he did it. Oh, I saw him in the elevator. He actually made a comment, right? Some people from ABC asked them, how did this happen, right? The fact that they're, you know, and he said that this was a big win, okay? Somebody asked him, how did your big win feel? He said, in 35 years, I have never felt like this. He was looking like he had just won the Super Bowl. And they said, how do you feel? He said, I'm relieved that I don't feel miserable. I'm relieved that I do not feel miserable. And he said in 35 years, he has never felt like this. Again, it defies logic and it defies odds that this jury found that man innocent of all that. The kidnapping, the arson, the robbery, everything that actually happened. And they said it didn't matter. They said those women's pain didn't matter. They said their bodies didn't matter. They said it didn't matter. And there are a bunch of idiots that literally are celebrating depravity. They're celebrating that you can use people as party favors. They're celebrating they can get away. And I get it. I see why Diddy and his family are celebrating. They want to get their money back. They want to get their lives back. But these bottom lickers that are celebrating, what's going on with that? What is going on with that? Again, I'm not going to even, I am so disappointed, not just in the jury, but in the people and in the public and in what that means. I am disappointed and I am disgusted. A red flag should have been those crap men laughing at his stupid misogynistic rape jokes, laughing at painting Cassie as a ho-ho-ho, laughing at all that. It should have been something of it. And it lets us know it's sending, listen, forget the Me Too movement because they always like to bring that up. It lets you know they don't think you matter. They don't think your pain matters. They would die if it was their mom, their sister, their sister, their mom, their whatever. They would die. But when it's somebody else's, it's fine. When it's somebody else's, it's fine. Again, let's get into this, right? Mark Agnifilo did a smart legal move, and I'm telling you guys, I am so disappointed, but I still have to power through and tell you where I think things went wrong. He is still looking at a maximum of 20 years, but there's a chance that he could walk away with probation. Mark Agnifilo stood up at the last time, okay? He stood up and he actually said, right? Listen, wait, what? Hold on. 1 second. He stood up, okay? He stood up and he actually said that he wants Diddy to go free now. I understand, right? I understand. I've been hearing lots of comments that Diddy's family's looking for me. King Combs was in the hallway saying, "Where's Tisa? Where's Tisa? Where's Tisa?" Tisa's right here. Tisa's still standing down on truth, right? It was either one of the sons or somebody with them, right? It doesn't matter. The whole point is, even with the Combs family, this is what I mean about the hostility. I didn't bring those charges. I stand by. I believe what the government said, and I stand by the victims. But the fact that now, and this is what that dream team actually did, they let this man back on the street, right? Because now, let's talk about everybody that didn't lick his feet. Let's talk about everybody that wasn't part of his thing. Let's talk about everybody that believed the victims. Because now it's time for the Combs Enterprise to do what the Combs Enterprise does, and that is to do what? To apply that pressure, to apply that money, and to apply those bottom feeders that really don't care about anything except their proximity to wealth. It is what it is. Let's get back into this, okay? Again, I think the co-conspiratorship, but again, I am Monday quarterbacking. The prosecution put on a great prosecution. This really goes into what they think abuse is, what people think abuse is, how much they're willing to stand against it, what they're willing to accept. This was a message to all victims, and the message is stay quiet. The message is people don't care, and the message is Diddy doesn't even have to lift a finger to silence people. He doesn't even have to lift a finger to silence people. They will actually do it. Again, the dream team got him off so they can now start applying pressure and now start doing. Mark Agnifilo stood up and said they would be an action. There is Xavier and Westmoreland leaving the court. They are part of the dream team that got Diddy free. Again, they did their job and they did their job well. Unfortunately, their job, in my opinion, was getting a monster off. Again, this isn't a loss for me. I was advocating for victims. This is a loss for all of us. This is a loss for society. And the fact that when all that went down, that is all they could say, that is all they could do. Again, I still stand 10 toes down. And all these people saying, ha, 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 I get it. We live in a world, in a country, in a time when nobody cares about anybody, right? Nobody cares about anybody. Let's get, listen. Let's get this. Let's get into this. Cassie's lawyer, 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗞𝗦, has made a statement, okay? He said, this entire criminal process started when our client, Cassie Ventura, had the courage to file her civil complaint in November 2023. They said, although the jury did not find Diddy guilty of sex trafficking, Cassie, beyond a reasonable doubt, she paved the way for a jury to find him guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. By coming forward with her experience, Cassie has left an indelible mark on both the entertainment industry and the fight for justice. This is a direct statement from Cassie's lawyer, 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗞𝗦, okay? We must repeat with no reservation that we believe and support our client, who showed exemplary courage throughout this trial. She displayed unquestionable strength and brought attention to the realities of powerful men in our orbit and the misconduct that has persisted for decades without repercussion. This case proved that change is long overdue, and we will continue to fight on behalf of survivors. Well said, Mr. Wigdor. Well said, okay? Now let's look at whatever else also could have went wrong, okay? Listen, again, last major point, which points to the obvious fact that this whole thing was unnecessarily rushed. all right? In grand jury, listen, is grand juries and home raise are what happens when you end the investigation. Those feds were bringing stuff to the grand jury just a few months after opening an investigation. The fact at the end that they're rushed and lazy investigations, the feds knew nothing more about Diddy and his business operations than what was Cassie's complaint, right? I mean, the Rolling Stones found out more about the illegal stuff that Diddy was doing than the feds did, all right? Everyone knew Diddy was doing mob-type stuff to keep people in shady deals and cutting former business partners out. 2 years of wiretaps and pressure to talk and be charged as a co-conspirator would have done a lot. But again, Mark Agnifilo took that away, okay? Listen, again, it is what it is. Again, this is a watershed moment, okay? It is a watershed moment. Again, it is a watershed moment. Again, what are you doing? It is a watershed moment. You guys, listen, all I can say is this, okay? All I can say is this. Again, people want to talk about controlling the media, okay? When I say watershed moment, I don't mean that good. I mean that it's a watershed moment and a wake-up call for the type of country we live in, for the type of thoughts that are in people's minds from 40 to 71 years old, and the fact that they will actually do that. I will say this, okay? I will say this. This is not over, and we need to move forward. I get all the flunkies of Diddy are happy their idol, who wouldn't even spit on them, is out, because this is the type of lifestyle they idolize. A world where women can be drugged, they can be transported, they can be beaten, and nothing, as long as you have enough money and power, the respect that brings will guarantee that you will never get anything again. Again, this is a circus, and this is America. This is the world we live in. A woman's body means nothing. Bruises mean nothing. SA mean nothing, okay? And now we have a thing of black men coming, trying to do. You guys, listen, I will actually say something, right? At the end of the day, these were federal charges. And the fact that people think that federal charges do not have anything and they don't stick about... Oh, these broke niggas is mad. So anyway, listen, at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, excuse me, can you please move him away, please? So at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, right?
We will listen.
At the end of the day,
we go. They
we
want to act
have
black.
Done what we can. This shows that these people care more about, right? We have shown.
She's a federal informant.
Y'all, I work for the feds. So listen, what's been actually happening is, I'm glad I'm turning into the story, honey. I'm glad I'm going. Okay, so listen, at the end of the day, these people are sitting here in their struggle, mad that Diddy doesn't even know they exist. They want it, I get it. They're mad that they don't have, right? Listen, they are mad. They're mad. They're mad. They are mad.
They
listen,
are messing her up.
At the end of the day, the prosecution is showing what it is. And now
I recognize that guy's voice. That's real loud. He has his own YouTube channel, and he's probably jealous because 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦, make sure I say her name right, has way more subscribers. She get more views, and she's doing the thing. He's struggling. His channel is struggling, y'all. And I'm not calling him out because we did some reactions of on his channel as well, just to see what his input is. But what he's doing now as a grown man, because he is definitely older than her. He's probably my age. I think he probably older than me. I look young for my age, but I got a couple of numbers. I'm 59. So this guy should not be doing what he's doing. And that's a fact. shame on you for doing
They
that.
are saying that I should be the story because I actually went to the prosecution. Because at the end of the day, they are mad that I went with what the prosecution could say, that I did with what the prosecution would say, and they're mad. There's all these bottom figures that literally are trying to get money off they can, but they cannot, right? Listen, at the end of the day, these people need to be worrying about whether Diddy's going to get time and not yelling at me. I get it that I'm the story. I know they need me for the views. I know they need me for the content. I know they need me for those pennies and those money. And I know that they are the type of men that feel very comfortable trying to harass and bully and intimidate women. At the end of the day, this is the type of people they are. They want to bully women. They want the quiet women. And there's a bunch of dusty, ugly, male-identified women also riding on them. At the end of the day, this is the world we live in. And I'm glad. Thank you for my baby for paying for security. Thank you for my baby for keeping me protected. Baby, I love you and I will sue you soon, okay? But at the end of the day, these are Diddy supporters. Grown men rolling up on women, trying to intimidate them, trying to make me feel scared, trying to make me feel, because they're mad that the federal government looked at behavior and said it's no. They are hoping that maybe they can get like a few things. There's a bunch of dusty, ugly, men-identified women mad that patriarchy didn't work for them, that are riding along with them. I get it. This is the world that we live in. They're mad. Federal government bought up things, and this he is crashing out. He's crashing out. He's crashing out, and I love to see it. He is whoever it is, he is crashing out. Meanwhile, the man that he rolled out for don't know him, won't shake his hand, but he wants at the end of the day. And any gay, listen. At the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, it is what it talks about. And I get it. And it's sad that these band of married men are doing this.
Wow.
You guys, let's get back into this, okay?
Yes.
So anyway, Mark Agnifilio, listen, I will say this one time. The jury got it wrong, and the jury enabled this behavior. This is what the jury enabled. These are the people that support Diddy. This is the type of thing that they want actually done. Grown men crashing out, emotional over someone that doesn't even know they exist. Grown men fighting for the fact that they should be able to abuse, bully, yell. This is the world they want to live in. This is the world they want to live in. And now they're crashing out, screaming, voices cracking, because they're mad that security is making it impossible for them to even touch me or get over to it. Anyway, you guys, let's get back into this. Let's get back into it. And they're mad. But this is what they want. Okay, so Mark Agnifilio stood up and said that he thinks that Diddy should be able to be released and go home now, okay? The government said that they are going to strongly oppose that. The government said that they are going to strongly oppose that, right? Now, here's the thing, and you guys, thank you so much for being here with me. I am here in the trenches with y'all.
Yes.
I am here, actually out here. There's a lot of hate out here. A lot of people act like I bought the charges. I will never apologize for supporting victims. And again, everybody laughing and kikiing, let them have their point. But again, the day has to change sometime. Diddy left, so now they come to the only story, which is actually me, right? Which is actually me, okay? So anyway, listen, they're saying that Diddy should be out on bail because it got downgraded to prostitution. They said he should be released now. He should be returned to home. He's only been convicted of the Mann Act, which, by the way, can go up to 20 years for the Mann Act, right? Mark has made a bid saying he got released he got not guilty for less serious things, but it is, right? He said that his plane has been chartered. The plane is in Maui, so he's not a flight risk. He says he has no access to the plane, and his family has, in fact, been, his family is going to hold him to make sure he doesn't try to run, right? He said that he shouldn't be permitted. He said he should be permitted to go home and live his life at home, like he's been working, right? He said this is just a prostitution offense. They said that he should be able to leave the courtroom and walk outside, okay? They're doing the guidelines. But here's the thing. The prosecution jumped up and said that they are going to ask for the guidelines, and they're going to ask for the maximum sentence of 20 million. right? Mark Agnifilo thinks that he should be released right now on $1 million bond, give up his passport to his family, and be able to go between Florida and New York City. And again, I literally sat there and said, this man, who even when, as Maureen Comey said, when prosecution was watching, this man was able to, even while prosecution was watching, was able to do what? He was able to go back and forth. Even while the prosecution was watching, he still was able, even when prosecution was watching, to break the law, commit this. He was still hiring escorts. He was still ready to go. And they are trying to get him off. Again, congratulations to the Dream Team for doing what they do. But again, do you see all these idiots walking around wanting to fight me, mad I have security, and they can't be a man and use their fist in hands like Diddy? This is what the jury enabled. And this is the world the jury wants to live in. They sent a clear signal that if you beat someone, hit someone, expose someone to indignity, that's what their money and power can actually buy, okay? And there's a lot of people. Again, at the end of the day, they focus on what they can. A bunch of dusty, men-identified women that patriarchy never worked for, but they're still gonna support it because that's the only leg in the game they can. And a bunch of men that's mad that they're broke, mad that they don't get the views. Even people that today, oh, you need to apologize. Are you gonna send super chats back? Baby, does it make you that mad? Does it make you that mad that there were so many people that supported victims of sexual abuse? Does it make you that mad that there were so many people that actually did the right thing? At the end of the day, it is not a game. At the end of the game, it is not a game. And now Diddy's people have caused such a commotion that even when they won, even though he might be facing 20 years, they are still calling the boys in blue, even when he won. Again, everybody's looking and they want to see what my opinion is and what I'm going to do. And I still stand 10 toes down.
Much love, Tisa.
Thank you, Sam. It's okay. Listen. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
We all
Thank
behind you, girl.
Listen,
We all behind you.
what's up, girl? Lovely Ty. Can I get... Hold on. Can I get
You ain't gonna push me away, right?
Listen.
Okay, be sure.
Listen, these men
I ran away from the drama, honey.
Listen, these men are out here. They want to lay hands and feet on me. Thank God I got security.
Yes,
but
she do. She got top flight. She got 1 and 2. She don't play it. She's in a gated cell, honey.
And there's a few in the cut that y'all don't see. So listen,
Exactly.
Thank you, baby, for getting me security. I love you.
Aww.
I was safe. So tell me,
Okay.
what did you feel? This is, for everybody that doesn't know, this is the queen of YouTube herself,
Hey, y'all.
Lovely T. Please make sure
What's
y'all
up?
support and join her Discord. It is top notch. And
She's in the Discord. I didn't even know that.
Yes,
But Tisa's in
you
the
know what?
Discord.
On my burner account.
On her burner account.
So listen, tell me, when you heard the trial, the verdict come out, what did you think and feel?
Okay, I felt like I said before, the RICO was an overreach. I don't believe that there was a RICO. I don't think there was enough. This is not a case of BMF. I don't think he did this and his employees did this under the guise of, they're moving drugs, they're moving weight.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't feel like that, but I'm glad he got charged with something.
Yeah.
And they had the receipts for what they charged him with. And like I said, this is going to set a precedence, okay? This is going to shake up the industry. This is going to wake people up to let people know you cannot go around abusing people. You cannot go around taking people's talents, taking their God-given gifts, chewing them up and spitting them out. So this is going to be a wake-up call because this is bigger than Diddy. We are talking about a demonic industry, everything from Hollywood actors to the modeling industry, the Abercrombie and Fitch folks.
Yes.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yes.
And now hip-hop is getting a taste.
Pixel Film Studios
And
present.
you gotta ask yourself,
Y'all see,
supposed to be
she's
on
an
mute.
OG.
okay,
Keep going.
we gotta
It's supposed
talk
to be
about
on mute.
character. This is a man that was popular. A lot of people fuck with him. He put a lot of people on. But where are these people today? See, when you get in trouble, you find out who's really there for you. Why was nobody there to support him outside of attention seeker Kanye, who came to promote his song a week later, and who was also, he feel like he's trying to intimidate Jane Doe. But that's just my opinion. Outside of Kanye, who else came up here to support Diddy? Ask yourself that, okay? When I can watch an interview of these grown men, day 26, breaking down, crying, years later, all of them, it wasn't just Q crying, all these men were crying. That tells you that something sinister was going on at Bad Boy. Okay? So we're not just gonna knock that and throw that out the window. Like, I get everybody's point where they're like, oh, they're trying to take down a black man and this and that. I get that. But at what point are we gonna hold our own accountable?
Exactly.
We have to be able to hold our own accountable. You just can't treat people any type of way and then think you can get away with it. And the thing is, he knew what he was doing was wrong, because guess what? When he was on the Breakfast Club, he said that he would not allow his twins to date older men. He would not allow, so if you're willing to protect your own daughters, why are you not treating other men's daughters as if they're your own? Why are you out here, you know, pimping out or whatever you're doing to Cassie? And like I said, I give Cassie grace because she was young. He got her when she was young. Jane Doe don't get that much grace. Jane Doe, I'm sorry. I don't agree with Jane Doe. Jane Doe knew what she was doing. She been selling the cat. Let's start there. You know what I mean? But Jane Doe, and I think that's why they ended up not finding her guilty on that one.
Because you think Jane Doe
yes, her testimony.
You think so?
Because then after a while it was helping, you know what I'm
Because
saying?
everybody knew her lore. On the jury, if they even followed a little bit along or did a quick research.
Right.
That's an interesting theory.
I think that's why they lost
theory.
their count books, because of Jane Doe.
But
And
what
then
about
after
the
a while-
Cassie one being lost? The sex trafficking on Cassie.
That was interesting. You know, I mean, we can't win them all. You can't win them all.
True.
You have to look at it like that.
True.
I still think that this is still going to set a precedent. You know,
I hope
granted it wasn't
does.
the RICO, but I think it does. It's going to have to force people to move smarter in this industry. And another thing, let me talk about this real quick.
Go on.
I also want a lot of young girls on social media to understand everything that glitters is not gold. A lot of y'all look at stuff and y'all see these Instagram, you know, personas and their lifestyle and these trips and these bags and these shoes. Okay, understand that they're only showing you a highlight reel.
Yeah.
So I really hope that people take from this case, not just the salaciousness, not just the sexual exports, not just the baby oil, but understand that everything that glitters is not gold.
Yes.
Everybody thought Daphne, you know what I'm saying, like the whatever.
From Scooby-Doo?
From,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying, was doing her thing.
Yeah,
and
And Velma too.
Yeah.
And Scrabby and
Exactly. And now
Yeah.
when you look at it, it's like, damn, that's where all that came from?
Exactly.
That's how you got your riches?
You see Barbie, Scooby-Doo, Daphne, Velma,
All that.
Wendy, all of them
All
doing
that.
the thing, but it is everything that you see is not gold.
Yes.
Mama, let me just ask you one more question, because you bring up a very, very important point. Diddy has a band of idiots, broke, dusty, ashy, and yes, I'm talking to you, broke, dusty, ashy supporters and dusty, ashy male-identified men. Right?
Wait a minute
band
before
of
he.
idiots.
Wait a
The
minute.
thing, but-
Wait a minute. She hit back. Wait a minute, y'all, and now he going, cause he a type of dude. This guy that she's talking to served some time also, by the way. It sure is funny how when people come out of jail, they know it so much. Wait a
It
minute.
is everything that you see is not gold.
Yes.
Mama, let me just ask you one more question, because you bring up a very, very important point.
Okay.
Diddy has a band of idiots, broke, dusty, ashy, and yes, I'm talking to you, broke, dusty, ashy supporters and dusty, ashy male-identified men, right?
You said I was serious.
Y'all don't do drama, I don't do drama.
Okay. Listen.
I don't do drama,
So
y'all.
listen,
I don't
but
do
listen,
drama.
I'm gonna hold you people there. Okay,
Thank you,
okay,
sis.
no problem.
Bye.
Bye bye. Okay, so listen, a hit dog will holler, baby. We summoned them. A hit dog will
Oh,
holler.
my God.
A hit dog
I done
will
missed-
holler. A hit dog will holler. So listen, let me just tell you something, right? Because this is an interesting point that Lovely T actually point out. All the people with money, power, influences, Diddy's equal. They refuse to come and support this man because they know something was wrong. But there are a million broke, dusty, desperate, bitch-ass men out here trying to bully women. Anybody of note, of merit, of whatever, anybody of note and merit is not out here. But you got dusty people. Y'all, so
How far-
listen,
I
let's get
swear
back
to
into
God,
what
I
happened
wanna
with the
see-
prosecution, right?
Show him.
Let's get back into what happened with the fit check. Let's get what happened into this, right?
You
Let's
go ahead.
get what listen, turn it up. I love this song.
Go ahead, girl. Go ahead. She trying her best to ignore him, but he is definitely in her ear. He's in her mind. But Tisha, we on your side, girl. Don't worry about that. Whatever's happening right now shouldn't even be going down. She got her opinion, and they both black. You see what I'm saying? How can we act? I don't understand that. He should not be doing what he's doing.
Anyway, listen. So listen, Mark Actafilio wanted a listen, bad. Listen. So anyway, right? Government opposed the application for bail. Listen, she stood up there. Maureen Comey said the person is found guilty with clear and convincing evidence. Right? Again, they said it does not matter whether he is a flight risk. We need to look at the seriousness. There is a reason. There is a reason why he is being held in jail. Okay? They said that he hired people. He did first labor, right? There was physical abuse, right? He said it was prolific distribution of drugs, which, by the way, Diddy literally actually said yes to. They said that they're going to push for 20 years in jail, the maximum. Now, there is a chance that Diddy could get probation, but with 2 acts of the man back, he is looking at 20 years in jail. He continued, even when he knew he was under federal investigation, he continued with a litany of drugs. He knew he was under scrutiny, right? This is horrible assault. Drugs, escorts, freak-off supplies, and it was uncontested by Diddy. They said, given all the evidence, they believe he 100% poses a danger. He is a real risk, and they 100% believe he will continue to commit crimes, okay? They said that literally, beside the fact that he was found not guilty of 3 different crimes, right? He actually 100% is a danger to society. And I just want to actually say, okay? I just want to actually say, you look at Diddy's supporters, you look at the sheer level of stupidness and ignorance. And this isn't to all, these are the people out here glazing, obviously don't have real jobs, or maybe they are content creators, you could say that about me, that were literally trying to glaze and see what they could get. Again, hear me out, right? Anybody that was notable, anybody that was respectable, anybody that was anything, they refused to actually be. I'm out in the courthouse. It is pandemonium. I would have showed y'all what was going on, but I didn't want to give the Glazers any content, any whatever. So I said, I'm going to keep the camera on myself because that's what y'all came to see. But it's pandemonium out here. My point of the matter is, right, and it's about 85 degrees and humid. And I got this jacket on, baby. I'm out here working for y'all. I want to give a thank you for everybody that gave a super chat and supported. But again, the level of ignorance that people are really trying to act like the federal government and numerous victims didn't come forward. The fact that people are trying to act like there was no basis for this. The fact that people are trying to act like this was a social media campaign that went too far. The fact that people don't care about the abuse. They don't care about the victims. They don't care because, and this is why the world looks like the way it was, as long as a rich man has money, then you can get anything. And you can even get grown men to come out here and try to fight women out here reporting the truth. Again, I will say this to anybody saying, how do you feel? I 100% still believe the victims. I believe that this was a miscarriage of justice. I do believe, after what we heard Lovely T say, and a lot of people, that this actually moved the needle forward. This moved the needle forward for people that are victims of SA, for people that are. I feel, and my heart breaks for the people that came and testified. Was Jane the best witness? I don't know. But I'm actually really shocked that they didn't even find out with Cassie, that they told them that it was okay for them, right? Listen. Again, I will say this, I am scared for anyone who testified against him because Diddy is very, very vindictive. And I'm scared for the people that testified against him. Listen, and again, baby, thank you. Listen, again, we saw this with Drew Dixon. We saw this with so many people from the Me Too. We saw this even with the Harvey Weinstein. The way that there are people, power is set up, that there are people that will, that there are people emboldened, Because not even that they have power, because they want to protect that structure, because they think one day they'll have an opportunity to literally destroy people, to hurt people, to not do anything. You guys, don't worry, I'm 100% safe. Shout out to my baby. Thank you. Listen, I'm 100% safe. Don't worry about it, okay? But I do want to say that, let's look at who the jurors are, because I do want to talk about that, right? Let's look at who the jurors actually are and who were the jurors and what they actually told us, okay? Where are the jurors? We have information on the Diddy 12 that set this man free. And who would have thought that the holdout, right? Who would have thought the holdout was the best thing ever? So what do we have with the jurors, right? What do we have with the jurors, right? Here's what it goes. They said, here's what we know about the jurors. Juror number 2 is a 69-year-old man who works as a massage therapist in Manhattan. He has a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Acting from New York University. Juror 5 is a 31-year-old man who works as an investment analysis. His hobbies include golf, tennis, video games, and he described himself as an active churchgoer. Juror number 25 is a 51-year-old man who works as a scientist and lives in Manhattan with his domestic partner. Juror number 28 is a 30-year-old woman who lives in the Bronx with her mother and brother. She works as a deli clerk at a grocery store. Juror number 55 is a 42-year-old woman who lives in Manhattan with her fiance. She works at a nursing home and said she is not a fan of news. Juror number 75 is a 68-year-old man who's retired and previously worked in finance. He lives in Westchester County with his wife and said he listens to old Indian music and likes to play cricket and volleyball. Juror number 116, he was a 68-year-old man who lives in Westchester County with his wife and kids. He's a retired lineman. Juror 160 is a 43-year-old woman who is a physician's assistant and works with elderly patients. She lives in Westchester with her husband and kids. Juror number 184 is a 39-year-old man who lives in the Bronx with his brother. He's a social work program supervisor and a part-time security guard who has a master's degree in social work. Juror 201 is a 67-year-old man who has 2 adult children and works as a logistics and analysis. He lives alone in Westchester County. Juror number 217 is a 74-year-old woman who works as a treatment coordinator and has a bachelor's degree in sociology. She lives alone in Manhattan and she does not have children. Juror number 230 is a 57-year-old man who works as a manufacturing architect and has a master's degree in mechanical engineering. He lives with his wife. I'm good. I'm cool. He lives with his wife and kids in Westchester County. This juror started as an alternate and replaced the juror who actually left. They replaced the juror who actually left. You guys, listen. At the end of the day, Diddy supporters are idiots. The male-identified women are, in fact, idiots. But more... Great first day, huh? But at the end of the day, here's what I do. Everybody wants my comment. I don't know what everybody expected. Did you think I was going to come with my head bowed? Did you think I was going to cry? No, we are in this for the long haul. The victims did not get justice. There's a chance that he could do 20 years in jail. There's a fact he could get 5 or 6. We actually really don't know. The whole point of the matter is, I stand with the victims. I don't regret a thing I said. I don't regret a thing I did. I don't need a man's money, fame, popularity, wealth. I don't need the clout. I don't need the clicks. I don't need the views. I came here and I spoke the truth, and that resonated with all of y'all on what, listen, again, I get this as a story for everybody. I get that everybody wants to, I get this as a story for everybody. I get that everybody wants to, and I get it, because this was a story for me, but I was here and I stand here once again for the victims of abuse, for the victims of SA, for the people. I don't need a click, I don't need a view, I don't need a dollar, I don't need clout, I don't need fame, I don't need to be invited to a party, I don't need to be on any show, I don't need to be on any headline. I need to sit here on YouTube and speak my truth, and I don't care how many people fall prey to power. I don't care how many people kiss up and lick the feet of the tyranny of evil men. I don't care. I will always stand here on the side of the righteous, on the side of the victim, on the side of the abused, and on the side of justice. And even when a jury who I think did not get justice, did not get it right, I still stand here because like Lovely T said, this is the beginning. This is the beginning, okay? This is the beginning. Hopefully, this is the beginning. But you see, even from the Diddy thing, about how many people that don't even have access to money and power, but they hope, they wish, they pray, right? How many people will do whatever they can just to uphold power? And that's why we have the power structures. That's how slavery, that's how racism, that's how, there's so much stuff going on that you even now see people licking the boots of power. But thank God there is YouTube, and we don't need to cower. We don't need to be afraid. We can speak our truth. And no matter what anybody says, that truth will remain unchanged. It will remain unchanged, and it will not come with tears. It won't, even though y'all know I'm a big crybaby. It will not come with regret. It will not come with, oh, maybe. And it won't come with MF and apologies. I stand with what I said. And I still stand. This was a miscarriage of justice. I hope the prosecution does appeal. But if they don't, I hope that that sentence is aggravated for the Mann Act, because there must be some accountability. And I am sickened, I am disgusted at the people that will stand with clear evil. You would never want that for yourself. You would not want that for your children. You would never want that for the people you love. But for everybody else, it's fine. For everybody else, it's fine, right? Because it is a key, it is a story, it is whatever. You guys, listen, when I say I feel like I've been through war, I sat out here while I was surrounded with men wanting to fight me, trying to fight me. But it is a new day. I will not bow down. I will not stop. And I will never apologize for standing on the right side. And no matter how many people will find selling their souls for, obviously, judging by the way their dusty-ass attitude is, for nothing, that will never be me. The only thing I need to do is be right with myself and know that when I go to sleep, I did my best to make the world a better place. I did my best to make sure that people knew the full time. I did my best to fight against ignorance, saying as if we made up these accusations, as if we brought this to the federal government, as if this wasn't. Let me tell you something, and this is what everybody forgets. You saw the interviews with Dawn. You saw Aubrey. You saw Day 26. You saw Gina's interview. You saw Misa Hilton Brim saying everybody knows something is wrong with you. Everybody knows something's wrong with them. You saw all these people go in. You knew, like Lovely T said, everybody knows there's something insidious going on. Everybody knows the mob types. Everybody knows the whispers. Everybody knows the rumors. And when people finally came out, Diddy settled with Cassie 24 hours later for $20 million. And you got Glazers out here dusty and mad out of everything that's going on. They worried about super chats. Sorry, I'm sorry. If I can, I wouldn't donate any super chats, right? But they're mad about the Glazers, and they're doing what they can. Again, this world is lost, but I still will always stand on the side of right. The fact that people are acting like, and what did that jury do? That jury, because they were like, oh, I don't feel he needs to. They literally unleashed him for him to have retribution on anyone that opened their mouth against him, anyone that stood against him, anyone that dared speak truth to power. And it's sick and it's sad. And this is the world we live in. But you know what? I do want to say this. It's like my dad always told me, okay? The number one thing you can do in life is recognize what reality is, right? Is literally recognize what reality is. Not what you want it to be, not what you hope it should be, not what you wish it to be, but recognize power for what it is, right? Recognize reality and the world we live in for what it is. You can always dream for a better future. You can hope, you can do things to move, but if you don't actually have a reality check about where the ground is, how are you ever gonna jump up and fly? If you don't have a reality check about where the ground is, how are you ever gonna build? For everybody that stood with the victims, we have a reality check. We have a world. People say, oh, pray, thoughts of prayer. People will sit there and put all this stuff. When it happens to them or someone they love, they got a lot to say. Oh no, somebody help. But the reality check we hear is we live in a world where most people don't care. We live in a world where people will turn the other cheek and say no because somebody has power, or they feel they see themselves in them, or somebody has influence. And that's okay, because today, through the sacrifice that all of the victims did by coming and testifying, and it was a sacrifice, coming and sacrificing. Cassie had already got her money. She didn't need to go on the stage and get humiliated and torn apart, and the most humiliating, private, degrading parts of her life literally put up for ridicule for a bunch of dusty glazers to say anything. At the end of the day, what did we learn today? We learned what reality is. And we learned that as much as our neighbors and our friends might smile and, oh yeah, oh my God, that's horrible. At the end of the day, they don't care. At the end of the day, the only thing they care about, right? The only thing they care about, okay, is themselves, the people they love, and they're adjacent and trying to get next to power. And I'm glad in a sick way, I'm sad this happened, but in a sick way, I'm very glad that we got to see reality, and we got to see the country we live in, and we got to see what was truly in people's hearts. The people that are celebrating Diddy went free, keep that in mind. The friends and family you thought you knew that was staying quiet because they were too cowardly to come out and say what they really felt, because they were like, oh, like maybe this might make me look like a monster too. The people that are now that you call friends and family that are on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, celebrating, giving hip hip hooray, doing whatever, take note. Take note, because this is the reality, and this is what we need to live in, and this is what we're going to use to build. This is not the end for victims' rights. It's not. It's not the end for sex trafficking rights. It's not the end for anything that we're doing. I feel my heart breaks for anybody that actually knows what was on the line. For anyone, and this is why when they were doing the jury, they asked someone, have you ever been a victim of abuse? Has anybody you known been a victim of abuse? Do you work with people of abuse? Why did they kick anybody off that said yes? Because they wanted to keep the jury ignorant. They wanted the jury to go in saying, I don't even understand. How is that? Okay, she could have left. They wanted to make sure that these tired narratives that have been used to keep men and women abused and oppressed for decades, they wanted to make sure that it was a ball of ignorance, that not even an expert witness explaining what happened could actually break through. If I could say anything about the prosecution's case, and I think the prosecution did a hell of a case, but if I could say anything about the prosecution's case, I think they overestimated that people would do the right thing. I think they overestimated that people would apply the law. I think they overestimated that people would feel shocked and say that a monster that did these things should not be on the street. I think that is the only mistake the prosecution actually made. I think that's the only mistake that the prosecution actually made. The fact that they thought people would actually see themselves in someone else. I think they overestimated the amount of good, and I know I constantly do that in life. I've had my butt handed to me quite a lot. I think they overestimated the fact that people would, if given the chance, would 100% do the right thing. I think they overestimated that. I do. And I think at the end of the day, the fact that people are cheering that a known abuser, it's sick. It's sick, but it is what it is. Welcome to reality, but it doesn't stop, right? It doesn't stop. We move forward. I get it, you guys. Ignore the trolls. The ignorance, again, the will of the many. My dad also told me, there's in life, right? 70% of people are sheep, and they just want to follow. And if you tell them, no, if you try to drag them out the cave, remember the cave? You try to drag them, no, you're looking at shadows. 70% of people will fight you, because how dare you disrupt their reality? How dare you disrupt with the truth, with the fact that they could be free? There's another 10%, right? So, hey, what's up? 70% are actually sheep. They want to follow. And if you try to tell them, guess what? I made a world where you can think for yourself, they will fight you because they don't want that. And then you have the other 30%. There's 10% that they look at those sheep and they say, I can make those sheep mine. I can make those sheep mine. I'll tell the sheep whatever they want, and I'll bring them out to the pasture. And I'll make sure that the sheep work for me. I'll slaughter a few when I need to eat. I'll wear their hides. I'll do whatever I want, but I will use the sheep for my own will. And the 10% realize, because the sheep are just looking to follow, all they have to do is be strong. Might equals right. And those sheep will follow along. And then there's 10%. They see what's going on. They see the sheep, and they see the might equals right. They see the tyranny, and they see what the tyranny's doing. But they just look, because they're observers and they're interested. They're like, how could the sheep do that? Oh my God. They watch it like it's a football game. They see what's going on, but they choose not to get involved for whatever reason. But they see clearly what's going on. They're not sheep. And then there's the 10%, and that's us. There's that 10% that you say no. You want to wake the sheep up. You want to wake the sheep. The sheep are fighting with you. You're begging them, please, you're going to slaughter. Hey, what's up? There's the 10% that you see what's going on with the tyranny. And just like the other 10% that's just sitting there, you see, but you're like, no, not on my watch. You want to educate the sheep. You want to help the sheep. At the very least, even if the sheep fight you, you say, I am going to create a world where the sheep can be free and happy with their dumb selves. But happy, dumb sheep, right? Happy, dumb sheep. And the tyranny always try to mobilize. The 10% that are the tyranny of evil men, they always try to mobilize the sheep to move against the 10% that want to make the better world something for everyone. But it's okay, you know? It's okay. And this isn't about the Diddy trial, because at the end of the day, I stand with everything I say. But it just shocks me the way, like, wow, people really don't care. But you know who does? We care. And we're here. And, you know, my heart breaks for everybody that was a victim of abuse. My heart breaks for everybody that risked themselves and stood on business. My heart breaks. And you know what? I'm going to stand firm. And it's okay. And people can cheer that a monster went free. And it's okay, because there's going to be a next time. And this was, like Lovely T said, it was a wake-up time. It was a wake-up call for everybody in the industry. It was a wake-up call that we need to do more work. It was a wake-up call that people will say one thing and go into the voting booth and vote for another thing. It was a wake-up call that people, the sheep can't be trusted. It was a wake-up call that the sheep can't be trusted. And now that we know the sheep can't be trusted, what do? Do we make a better world for the sheep? Do we make real lamb time? See ya, girl. See ya. All right. Thank you, Mama. I'm good always. Thank you, Mama. All right. So listen, right? That was Lovely T. She's so sweet. So what do? Do we say F it and let the sheep go to slaughter? Or do we say no? We're going to stand firm. And it might not have been this time, but there will be another time. And there will be another time. And as much as I hope this would have been a leap, it was a small step forward. They got him a man. It could be 20 years. He could actually only get probation. At this point, I actually honestly don't know. The government is mad. I hope they appeal. They have 14 days to say if they appeal. Who knows? Diddy might actually just go home today. Again, but I hope to God for those people on the jury and these people out here acting a fool, I hope to God they never have to experience anything that Cassie felt. I hope to God they never have to, and anyone they love, and I mean this, never has to experience. I hope they can stay in their ignorant little sheep bubble for the rest of their lives. I hope to God no one they love ever has to experience one iota of what these women and men meant. And it's not just the people that testify. Everybody's gonna act like Day 26, Dawn, Cassie, all this stuff didn't happen. I hope to God, I really hope to God that these people that are delighting in the tyranny of evil men, it's almost biblical, I hope to God they never have to know or feel. Again, Diddy's doing a tour, let them go. Diddy's doing this, Diddy's doing that, and listen, in the eyes of the law, he got away with it. In my heart and in what I know, right? And I'm sure they're gonna try to bring religion in, saying they were praying this and that. It wasn't all that difficult, right? In the eyes of what I know is right, God has already judged Diddy. and I'm fine with what he actually judged. Again, Diddy looks like he will get some jail time. I don't think it's a fraction of what he should have. I'm sure they're going to appeal the sentencing and try to make sure that he never spends another moment in jail, right? Listen, at the end of the day, listen, again, Diddy supporters are busy yelling about this and that. The ignorance will always overflow. And congratulations to everybody. Congratulations to everyone. To all the content creators. Congratulations to all the content creators that took the Diddy package. I guess you bet on the right horse. I hope whatever they gave you was worth it. I hope whatever clout you think you're gonna get from this, you got. I hope every time you went to sleep and you saw what was happening in the courtroom and twisted it around so that it could help Diddy taint the jury, I hope those gold nuggets were worth it. I hope to God you never experienced what was described in that courtroom, and I hope nobody you love ever experienced too. And I hope one day you can look back on yourself and feel really, really proud about what you helped accomplish and the role that you played. Congratulations, you helped a monster go free, and you did it for clout. You did it hoping they would drop a few gold nuggets. You did it for pennies, pennies, pennies. I hope it was worth it. I always, when I was younger, like, y'all gonna hear, old school tattletales know this thing. I always, when I was younger, I used to always hear the Chronicles of Narnia. And, you know, remember how Edward, he sold his whole family out. Y'all know the story, for Turkish delights. And when I was younger, I would be reading, no, actually I watched the movie, all right? And I would be like, how? I watched the movie first and then I read the books. And I was like, and I remember saying to myself, how did you sell out your whole family for Turkish delights? And me being a kid, I was like, yo, Turkish delights must be mwah, chef's kiss. I want some Turkish delights. And I remember I waited. I was old enough to travel to Turkey. And I'm a big sweet person. And everybody wanted to go to the bazaar. Everybody wanted to go here. And I said, I made a beeline for the candy store because I wanted to taste the Turkish delights. I wanted to taste what was so delicious. What was so delicious that you sold your whole family out. That you sold the line. What's it, Oswald? You sold them out. What was so delicious? I wanted to taste it. And I went to the candy store. And you know, Turkey, they got that. I bought every single Turkish delight they had, and they had every flavor. And I remember I got back into like the little Sprinter van because I made them stop. We were supposed to be going to like some fine dining restaurant. And I got back into the Sprinter van. It was a group. And
hold up, y'all. Wait a minute. Uncle Mike, bathroom break. Pause. Fuck that. I gotta take the piss off of this one. Then I'm gonna go. Oh my goodness. Okay. Ooh, Lord Jesus. Damn, I said pause. Damn, I ain't even pause it. Oops, that's my bad. I can't get nothing right, man. I thought I can't. I'm trying to run these ads. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. I'm working on the website. I'm trying to, oh my God, I ain't going to New York. I already know that. Tisha, you handle that. So I don't need to be up there, because if I would have heard saw this stuff right here, nah, cuz. If I would have saw this right here, I would have had to open my mouth. I'd be like, Slim, man, look, man, let her do her thing, man. You yelling and messing. You know she recording. You doing that on purpose. Shame on you. You worse than Diddy, dog. God dang.
I was like, I asked the shopkeeper, what's the classic turf show? Like, you know, Chronicles of Narnia. And he was looking at me like, girl, what are you talking about? I was like, the classic. And I had the classic flavor. I remember I sat there and I bit into it because I wanted to see, what did you do all this for and bring wrath upon this earth? And so what did you do it for? And I bit into that Turkish Delight. And when I tell you, it was the most mid candy I've ever had in my life. At one point, I was trying to figure out what the flavor of it was. Like orange mixed with rose petal. Now my palate is a little bit more sophisticated, but back then it smelled like sweet Lysol bathroom cleaner. I don't know, the rose, the orange petals, what is going on? And I bit in there and I was like, what? You sold your whole family and everybody out for this mess? And that's when I realized, yes, I was slow to the uptake. It was an allegory. Hey, what's going on?
It's the 𝗟𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦 telecast.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Are you getting excellent trial coverage from 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦?
Yes, we are getting excellent trial coverage. We're good. You might want to get out of here. The Diddy people have been trying to assault me and beat me up all the time.
What was your most shocking moment?
Honestly, the most shocking moment was the way it was not guilty on the sex trafficking. I really, especially with the Cassie stuff, I really had to think to myself and say, you know what? We have a long way to go with people understanding what mental abuse is, physical abuse, sexual abuse is. It goes beyond domestic violence. We have a long way to go. I think the prosecutors, you guys know, I think they proved their case 100%. And it shocked me that they got them on the Prostitution Mann Act, which he might get 20 years, he might get probation. Nobody knows. It's really what the judge feels. But I think that was the most shocking moment, that all the big counts, they let go. And my shocking moment was that I know if it was them or someone they loved, they wouldn't have ruled like that. They wouldn't have ruled. What about you? What about you?
Well, you and I sat together in the courtroom every day, and we were looking at these 12 jurors trying to read the tea leaves, and I often would say to Tisa, you know, I think there's a generational difference in how people are viewing the evidence.
Yeah.
The younger members of the jury took it one way. The older members, you could read their faces that they were repulsed, that they were upset.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, who knows what happened back there in that jury room?
Hopefully someone took notes and we'll find out on a TMZ documentary.
Join us on TMZ, Harvey Levin and Charles and all our gang in Los Angeles. I'm just the courtroom producer here, but we had a chance to work with lovely 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦, and she's a lovely, lovely lady. So I'll see you later.
Thank you so much, Brian. I'll see you soon. Okay, so that was courtroom producer Brian. My Narnia story. So I bit in there, and it was the most mid-ish. I tasted like bathroom cleaner. You know, before your tongue becomes sophisticated, when I taste rose and orange petal, that's like Lysol or Bath and Body Works stuff. So I was like, I bit into it, and all of a sudden it clicked into my head. Yes, sometimes it takes me to get it. And that's when it clicked in my head, like, Tisa, this is an allegory. It's an allegory that people will sell out. People will bring death and destruction upon the world and their loved ones. People will let evil into the house. And when you think about what they got, you think they got all these riches, all this glamour, all this and that. And at the end of the day, the allegory was, that's a tragedy. Edward really did betray everyone he knew and loved for something that was nothing and so mid and so inconsequential. The tragedy was even more that you sold them out, but that you sold them out for that you sold them out for nothing. That you sold them out for nothing. And for all the pro supporters, for all the bloggers, and they know who they are. They know who they are. Listen, they know who they are. For all the bloggers that sold their souls for a few pieces of Turkish delight, I hope it was worth it. I hope it was worth it. I hope it was worth it. You reap what you sow, and you made the world a more dangerous place for men and women definitely women, but also men. You made the world a more dangerous place for you and the people that you love. And you did it for a crappy piece of original rose orange petal flavored Turkish delight. And that's it. That's, listen, that's it. That's the story. Listen, we can argue all day whether Jane was the ops. Let's say we see Jane with Diddy. But we can argue all day on whether. I don't think, and this is the sad part, I don't think the jury was bought. I don't think the jury was paid for. I don't think that I think that Diddy's money and his celebrity and his lore combined with people truly hating women and victims of abuse, right? Most of them are women, but there are some men, people truly hating. And the fact that our country for the last 15 years has been on the stint where we root for the bad guy, we root for the sociopath. When we look at someone that's victimized, we say, well, you should have, how come you didn't? We never look at the monster. We want this system set up that the mighty reign. And I think all that came, and the jury is nothing but a reflection of society. And the jury reflected the society that we live in right now. And the jury lets us know when you're dealing in reality, we have a lot more work to do. We have a lot more work to do, okay? We have a lot more work to do. Again, I get it. Oh, look, they're still loving this world. Look, guys, someone's getting married. They're still loving this world. That's Diddy's family coming out. There is still love in this world. Listen, you guys, I will always be a voice for victims. I will always be a voice for good. And I just do want to say that when it comes to all this stuff, it is what it is. The fight continues. The fight continues. And if anybody offers you a piece of Turkish delight, don't take it. Whatever they're offering you, it is not worth it. It is not. Listen, they're chanting right now, Free Puff, the will of many. Again, in this world, money and power, it won today. It won today. But shout out to the victims. For the victims and the names that we whisper over here in silence. Shout out to the victims and the current victims and the past victims. And sadly enough, the future victims. Sadly enough for the future victims. But anyway, you guys, listen. We live to fight another day. We live to fight another day. All right? In any case, you guys, listen, let me sign out. I'll talk to y'all later. I'm going to go live later on. I'm also going to be on Burden of Proof and a few other things. At the end of the day, I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments, okay? I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
I think that was not called for. I really think that was kind of messed up, what my man did and everything, but that's just my opinion. I mean, I'm finally glad that he left her alone so she can get her thoughts out. No matter what, nobody wants to believe that they being intimidated, but I can tell that he was bothering her. And from a man to a woman, no man should put that type of pressure on a female. I don't care what she's doing. She ain't doing it to me. Let her do what she want to do with her little cell phone, and she got her dress on thinking she cute, whatever you want to say. But I should not be making her feel uncomfortable when she got to yell out. That's not cool. Why do we do stuff like this? You know, and he walking around, you know, he done already served some time before. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just, no matter if you weigh out whatever she did and whatever she's doing, she's minding her business. And you weigh out what he's doing, just mind your business and do what you need to do. If you feel like yelling, go in your house, close the door, and start yelling. You should not be yelling at her like that. I don't care what's going down. I'm going to get on up out of here, man. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.